Welcome back, strange crew. You are tuned into another trip through life's deep cuts. We hope you enjoy the ride.
Keep it strange.
And we are rolling. Welcome back, strange crew. I'm Kate Milbury.
And I'm Charisse Letson.
And we're ready to rock and roll with you. And we're heading to Bangor on this episode. If you've been following us on social, you know that about a week ago we went to go see Hozier. We were invited from the amazing team down in Bangor. And wow, what a phenomenal show. Before we get into covering all of that and really talking about the amazing venue and the experience and the amazing shows that are coming up, we want to talk to you a little bit about our amazing sponsors and our patrons. Without all of them, you guys watching, you all listening, show wouldn't happen and we wouldn't get invites to do these kinds of things. So a big shout out to our main show sponsor, Print3. Thank you for all that you do to support us over the past 7 years. Merch, so much printed material. We probably wouldn't be where we are without Mike at Print3. So big shout out to Mike at Print3, to the folks at the Hotel Ursa.
Yes.
Really, really thankful for our accommodations and our stay. The hotel was beautiful. If you're heading down to Bangor, which we hope that you are, and you're making accommodations after this, go stay at Hotel Ursa. It is on the University of Maine campus. It is beautiful. There's lots of blue in the hotel, so you know Kate loves it. And here's a fun thing. There's a discount code, Strange Grooves. And if you use it, you'll get a discount. An actual discount.
Man, it feels like we're real
we
podcasters now.
Are we doing it?
You got a code from someone.
And again, to all of our patrons, without you listening, angels, we love you so much. So let's get into the show. We're going to show you a quick clip of us on the way to Bangor. Fun fact, we made it to Bangor in under 3 hours, and that was with the border check and everything. We made it there. It was great, super easy. There was maybe a 10-minute line at the border, if that.
Yeah, like I remember us pulling up and we were like
20
oh my
cars.
gosh. Yeah, and we're like, oh, okay. And then actually went pretty quick.
It went really fast. It was great, and like, you know, the stops are enjoyable, the snacks are great, but when you think about whether going to Halifax or Moncton for shows, I mean, it's also just as quick to rip down to Bangor.
Quicker than Halifax from St. John.
Yeah.
We'll mention that. It's 4 hours to Halifax, only 3 hours to Bangor.
So here's a quick clip of us just getting ready to hit the road and head there. Hi, Strange Crew. Hello. We are on the road. We are on the way to Bangor, and we are heading down to see Hozier. We're so excited. Really, really excited because we love this venue. We haven't been down for a few months, and we're so excited to see the crew and the team that run these shows. We're so excited to see the concert tonight, and we've got some really, really fun things kind of planned and ready content-wise. So, yeah, we're excited. We got some coffees. We're about halfway to St. Stephen right now, so we're excited. If you're going to be in Bangor tonight, let us know. We want to see you. We have merch. We have a bunch of fun things, and we can't wait to see everybody. See you soon. Woo! Woo! Take me to Bangor.
Man, that was
What a trip. I don't know how many Dunkin' Donuts glazed donuts I got on that trip.
there's a few stops.
But I wish I had gotten more.
Yeah. It's it's so funny. We should really just keep like the phone going the entire drive.
Just like a GoPro on my head at all times. That's where the gold
There's
would
lots
be.
of silliness that was not captured, but you get the gist.
It'd be my 3 a.m. dance parties when no one's like up and I'm just there not sleeping.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get back to business. So let's talk about the venue. We also had a lot of people ask questions because they wanted to know, like, what do you guys really think about the parking? What do you think about the bathrooms? Was it a shit show? Was it hard to leave? People
The
don't
real
hold
hard
back
questions.
when they really want to know about the venue. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. Charisse and I have been to this venue multiple times in years previous. Back when it was only just a lawn, we had gone to see many bands, Tedeschi Trucks, Dave Matthews, Fish, really great bands. And the team there at the time, phenomenal just as much, right? Always going above and beyond to make sure that people know where, what gates, how to get in, how to get their merch, if they've pre-ordered merch, if it's coming to their house. They've always been so good at that. And one of the things that I found really refreshing, I know we had been to the venue last year to see Aerosmith, Stevie Nicks, and we had seen a lot of improvements, including like the concierge services, the suites, just the overall layout, the safety precautions that they took for weather, the elevated venues and bar spaces were really cool. So when we got invited back to come check out a show, we were really excited to kind of do some Steely Dan dirty work and figure out like, okay, well, what makes this, in our now coined term, the best venue close to us? And I'd say there's a multitude of variables.
Yeah.
I'd say that when you're in business or you've got a podcast or you're a band, you need to make sure that what you're doing is the best effort and makes the best impact. Otherwise, you're throwing resources out the window.
Yeah, I think one thing that, and I'm speaking for you, you can tell me to shut up, but one of the things that amazes me about the Maine Savings Amphitheater is just they think about logistics in a way that I don't think we've ever seen any other venue, including ones in bigger cities, LA, that they just don't think about it. Yeah. For instance, you touched on it when we were driving to our parking spot, which was very easy to get to, by the way.
You can prepay for it in advance.
It's like a ticket. They have the exact address to put in your GPS to pull right into the parking lot, but that's aside. When we're driving by, we see people and they're just like holding flags and bright t-shirts being like, how can I help?
How do I help?
Where do I go? Because how many times have we showed up in like an unfamiliar city in a big venue and we're like, what door do we go in? How do we like?
And you don't want to feel like a
knob about
not in
it.
the know or whatever. And what I found has always been refreshing is that they stand out there 3-4 hours before the event. They're excited to, grab some socials of people's outfits and to really capture the notion of what it means to get ready and go to a show. People are going through so much in their day-to-day lives, and sometimes even getting out to that concert requires so much emotional bandwidth to actually get out to
Lots of anxiety too. Like going to a show is fun overall, but like the things about like, getting there and finding your seat and the crowds of people, like that stuff, like it's tough.
And it can be sometimes a turnoff.
Really?
Right? So when we got invited to go, we thought, okay, well, let's really think about this from an attendee's perspective and not just caterers going to a show. And one of the things that I found to be so refreshing is really their ambassadors out there and their social media team they're having concerts every other day, sometimes 3-4 in a row.
Yes.
The team wasn't able to jump on this call today because they literally have Lamb of God and Mastodon tonight.
They're like, girl, we're busy.
Four nights of just shows, Smashing Pumpkins, Glorious Sons, Godsmack. It's just been show after show. So unlike a place like here, we might have a show every few months that's of a big stature like that, where they're doing them every day. And they're able to turn that over and give a prolific experience. So one of the things that we really found is them being present and being happy to see people at the door or when they're parking. Oh, hey, where are you driving from? Even if you've had a long travel day, it just adds the fact that they're excited for you to come see the show, right? When you get to the door, they're excited to see, oh, come on in, let's get your ticket scanned. It's not just a logistics get you in and get out. When you get into the actual venue, depending if you're in the floor, the pit, a seat, a suite, whatever that is, everybody is just happy to help you and to make sure that you're having a good time.
Yeah.
For us, one of the things that we noticed is from an architectural standpoint, and we touched on this in our last episode about the Rolling Stones, is that they built the Sophie Stadium 6 stories too high and had to get a permit to knock it down so that airplanes could go over it. And this is in 2023. We're building stadiums.
The year of our Lord, 2023.
Okay, but in the 1900s, we built them perfect, and they're still standing today. So when they looked at the renovation of their venue, and they're looking at, okay, if I'm somebody that's sitting on the lawn at the very top of the venue, and let's say a bunch of people are standing behind the seated parts of the venue, is that going to obstruct these people's view? And they thought above that and made sure that if you're in one of the bar areas, the seating is above so that you can see the center of the stage. No one's ever going to be trying to fight for eyes or trying to shove each other because of a viewpoint, which we see a lot of things happen because somebody tries to go in front of somebody or they're trying to get somewhere. And then
that's how fights start.
They could be working the event. They could be just trying to get a better seat, but it's the approach and how they take it with people. It's the fact that they bring merch right to you. And if you're not comfortable like going and finding it, they'll bring someone with an iPad to you to help make sure that you get your merch before the end of the evening. So I think it's that prolific service and also making sure that if something is a concern to you, you can definitely get that answer before you go to the show. If you need assistance during the show, there are people who are legit cleaning the bathrooms while you are trying to leave the stall.
We need to talk about the bathroom situation. I know it seems super mundane, but it's something that they are quite proud of, and they should be. Because how many times have we gone to a venue, like everyone watching, right? Especially if you're a lady waiting outside. There's like 5 stores.
To? Well, now it's a problem because, well, you don't have to worry about it not being clean or there being a wait. There's literally 100 stalls in different places of all around the venue.
So quick. They're always on top. You never have to worry about, is there going to be toilet paper?
Yeah.
You don't.
Do I have to do the prom night squat?
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
You don't have to worry about that. And it's just like, it sounds funny because like it kind of is, but also it's such a universal crappy experience at most places going to the bathroom during a show. And they seem to have fixed it. So Maine Savings Amphitheater, the true MVP.
And I also just have to say too, like from a, their social media, like we do run a marketing company on the outside of Strange Grooves. And one of the things from a social media perspective is, again, the proactiveness and the reactivity on just answering people's questions, talking to people, engaging them, showcasing their outfits. It's a great strategy because it keeps people wanting to be part of those shows, makes them feel safe. It makes them feel part of that family. And what that also does is it helps with ticket sales. And with so many, I know Therese and I both being St. Johners, in the early 90s when Harbor Station, TD Station was first built, I mean, you had Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, Aerosmith, like really big bands and artists coming to our venue. But because of the size of it, it's not lucrative for people of that stature to come play here. It would make more sense for them to go to a Toronto or some other place. Absolutely. And that's just good business. So when we think about where it makes sense for us to invest in and going to shows, I mean, we've now been all over. We've went to Europe, we've been to the States, we've gone to a lot of different venues. And I'd still say that the people that throw them, in small towns and like at the Short Club and places like that, they really think wholeheartedly about people and the experience and not just throwing on a show and then the show's over. They think about it before and after, and then they're thinking about it, from a memory perspective.
And I think it's so an excuse that we get here, like thrown around a lot around poor experiences around bigger venues is exactly that. Like, oh, we're a bigger venue, it's a bigger city, blah, blah, blah. And I know the folks at Maine Savings Amphitheater, they often play up the fact like, oh, we're in a smaller city, but not for people in Atlantic Canada, Like Bangor is pretty, you know what I mean? It's going out, right? And they do it really well. And I think they really should be teaching other venues around America and
just
beyond.
like a guide or a playbook, right?
Really.
Like how you should be, really ensuring that patrons are safe, really making sure that, if you're, especially with the price of concerts going up and accommodations on top of that, I mean, there are times now where it doesn't matter if you have the ticket price.
Yeah.
You can't afford the $1,000 hotel room that goes with it. And there is no standard on that. And you have to ask yourself too, if you were that place, wouldn't you do the same? And
but Hotel Ursa didn't do us like that, and
No.
they don't. Like they still have rooms right now for some big shows, and it's like they're not charging that. So shout out to Hotel Ursa, Bangor's best kept secret.
Yeah,
that might not be secret after this, but
beautiful cafe, beautiful like places to like work and study. So if
very
you're
New
down-
England. I love it. They really leaned like people were like at first I was like, oh, it's on a university campus, but no, like you don't feel like no dorm room vibes. Here it's very traditional New England. Like I just love it. They like really lean into it, and it's just so good. I love that place.
Yeah, and a couple of the questions that we did get asked is, okay, well, how does the actual ticketing work? And it's the same as kind of if you go anywhere. If you have a ticket on your phone, whether it's through Ticketmaster, they'll scan it. There's people at multiple doors at the front entrance. So depending on where you are, if you've got a suite, a box, pit, the floor, a specific bar or venue that you have a ticket at, you're good to go. Another question was, we saw Charisse eating jalapeno poppers.
Oh my God, can we
at
talk?
the Miller Lite bar.
Can we talk about that?
I think we should.
I think we need to talk about that. So that's the one thing I wanted to, great segue, is I wanted to talk about the bougie experience that you can get at the Maine Savings Amphitheater. You don't have to. You can get a lawn ticket and have a fabulous time. We can attest. I know you guys are probably thinking, oh, well, you got invited by the venue. But no, we've been actual patrons, paid patrons at this place. So like we're no cap. But man, if you're going to invest money in a VIP or a premium ticket experience, Maine Savings Amphitheater is where it's at, because let me tell you why. We had the privilege to be in one of the suites, which we'll have some footage playing throughout this, so you can kind of see our view. But that also gave us access to one of the several lounges in the theater, and ours was the Miller Lite Lounge, which is great. So down there, you go in, there's a bar, there's seating. So if you wanted to, like if the box was too cray-cray, you could go down and you could watch the show from the lounge. And there's free snacks, and not just like popcorn. No. There's jalapeno poppers. There's a nacho bar. There was, I forget what else was there.
Chicken tenders.
Chicken tenders, yes,
was,
chicken
like,
wings.
veggies, but like they had a full like
It was
cocktail
so good.
mocktail bar. They had fresh lemonades.
Yes.
They had decent ginger ale, like an 8 on the scale of 10 for me. It was probably like an
That's
8,
a lot.
9.
That's a really high from coming
So I was
from
like,
Kate.
This is really good.
So it was really great experience. So like they really put in the thought from whether you're sitting in the lawn spots or in getting premium ticket experience. It's worth it.
How do we feel, Kate?
And this venue just keeps getting better and better every time we come here.
Look at this view.
You know, like it's a really, really, really good, a really safe GA kind of area. As you can see, like nobody's literally trying to fight their way. We have really great spacing throughout the seating, which I feel as someone on a bit of a spectrum, it's really important to have like safe aisleways and stuff. And just one of the things you'll also like look over here, alcohol compliance. There's so many extra levels of safety every time that we're coming here that we usually find nowhere else.
Yeah.
Nowhere else. And again, whether you're looking at the things that they serve, having coffee, having restaurants, having like really good concessions, it's nice because it's not kerfuffle fuck.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can say it.
I know. This has probably been, after SoFi, this is such a pleasant
This is
ride.
hands down the best venue there
Yep.
is. Hands down.
One complaint though, and I think we need to discuss this. The Dunkin' Donuts lounge.
Yeah, so here's something interesting. I love coffee. If you've ever seen that Dave Grohl sketch where he's like, fresh pots all the time, and he's just like, coffee, fresh pots all the time, that's me. I drink like 8 Americanos a day. Can you tell? But here's the thing. I love Americanos, and I haven't drank in 7 years.
Bless her heart.
And when I saw that there was a Dunkin' Donuts branded lounge, I was like, oh my God.
We gotta go.
I'm going to get myself a hot Americano. I'm going to watch this show. And what's really cool is when you do have a suite, they have it fully catered. So like a chef fully prepares.
There is lobster rolls.
Like beautiful food.
Lobster
rolls.
rolls.
It's beautiful. It's very, but very, and like from a ticketed tier, like it's not VIP pricing. It's cost effective. You know what I mean? And the thing I found that was so cool is that you have all these options. They have this button on the table that if you need service, you press it. If you want to pay, you press it. If you need something else, you press it. And I just found that level of service to be not only prolific, but being above and beyond and really thinking about the patron. Right?
For sure.
And just the only thing I really wish is when I'd asked for the coffee, she was like, oh, we don't have any coffee here.
But you have a Dunkin' Donuts sponsored
like, oh.
lounge, y'all.
And I was like, okay, well, I'll go over to the Dunkin' Donuts thing. And they're like, well, that doesn't really, they don't serve coffee. It's just like a sponsored lounge. And I was like, that is a missed opportunity.
And you know what's so crazy? We saw the Dunkin' Donuts crew.
We saw the entire PR team for Dunkin' Donuts.
They walked through the Miller
Hard
Lite
not
Lounge.
to see them because they were wearing like the most amazing bucket hats, fanny packs, great. But they had nothing to give to anybody. And here I was like buying Dunkin' Donuts out the yin yang for my 24-hour Bangor trip. So I reached out to Dunkin'. Dunkin', if you're watching this podcast,
Bring some coffee.
just hook us up. Give me one of those bucket hats. I'll wear it on top of this frog mask every show.
And Stevie needs a new chew toy.
He really does. It was his favorite toy as a little baby. So I'm just letting y'all know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to say that would be the only thing that I would
really the
improve.
only complaint.
Even just like a carafe of coffee. That would be like super sweet.
Coffee. That's really our only piece of feedback.
If you can get a lobster roll,
Give us a
give me-
double.
even a Keurig.
A Keurig pod. We're not even asking
But
for
again,
an espresso.
not a complaint, just something that
Just a
like I
piece of
saw that
feedback.
I was like, oh my God, they have a Dunkin' Donuts here? That's pretty wild. And they had like a Truly lounge. and like a few
Yeah,
other
there's
things like
really
that.
great experiences all around. Like I can't say
I
enough.
do want to shout out to Maddie and Alex.
Yes, the
you
whole
know,
team there.
You know, I'm just going to be honest. It takes a lot sometimes to go above and beyond when you don't have to anymore. Everybody's just trying to make a living and everyone's just trying to make sure that they can get home at night and not be, in a state of emergency, right?
Correct.
And when we went there Alex and Maddie, from the time of first chatting with us to us arriving there and just coming up and just giving us the time to be like, we're excited that you're here. I mean, that's what we try to do when we're at events. That's what we look for when we're trying to give it to our clients and to the people that we're interviewing. And they are phenomenal at what they're doing. And like their team, again, they should have a playbook and something that actually showcases other venues and other places how to really step up that level of service. I also want to give a shout out to Paul, who is the director, I believe, of like VIP service. And again, it's not about being careful about this, it's about being honest. So a lot of times when you're busy and there's big events, whether it be, crazy artists or, old school artists, whatever that is, people are busy, right? So when you have an additional request, most people aren't wanting to try to accommodate you, okay? What was interesting is that when we went up to say like, hey, like, do you mind if we just go tour the venue? Because we're here, we want to make sure that we have a good review, that we understand all the parts to it. He could have said no because our passes were only for the boxes, technically. But because he knew that we were there and we just wanted to see the event, he took 15 minutes out of his time, walked us around, introduced us to every single person in every department, showed us around every portion of the venue to where there were, what would you call them? Like, like the things that you have over your veranda, like a cover, like a sun cover. He had like couches and stuff. He showed us why they thought out each thing. He took us to the Live Nation backstage area. So cool. He took us and showed us why they elevated the seating and everything to be thoughtful. And the thing is he's busy. There's 3 bands. There's lots happening. People are trying to scan their tickets in. He could have said no, but what that allows him to do is it allows this to happen and for us to be like, hey, when you go to that venue, 1, you're going to have a good time. You're going to have a great view. And if you need anything or if you want to talk to the staff or you need something, they're going to be there to talk to you. And I really appreciate him doing that because I know I've been in the position where I'm just like, oh, no, I don't really have time to do that, but your tickets won't allow you over here, but have a great time. And I think that just goes to show that their team really is not only trying to keep the audience that they've had over the years, but really trying to break a new audience. So if you haven't been to the venue before, Charisse and I really encourage you to check it out. It's really easy to get there. It's such a beautiful, clean, well thought out space. And again, I mean, we just got back from some stadium shows, and I would say it's the best venue I've ever been to.
Yeah, agreed. It's probably my favorite venue to go to.
Yeah.
So, what can we say? And we've been to a lot of venues.
And, before we wrap up, there's some really great shows coming up. Post Malone's going to be playing.
Steve.
Bret Michaels, Dee Snider. Yep. Pitbull's playing. There's so many good bands and artists that are coming down there. So, if you haven't got your tickets, you should. If you need a place to stay, make sure you use the hotel URSA and use code Strange Grooves. You'll get a little discount. You can use that little discount for a little drinky or an Americano or a piece of merch. Why not, right?
Exactly. And
to everybody who, again, is listening, watching, to Naomi who's filming on the camera, we love you. To all of you that support us and allow us, to get out to these shows and these opportunities and bring this information back to you, we really, really, really appreciate it. We love what we're doing, and we want to do more of it. So we'd love to hear where you want us to review next. If there are collectors or people that you want us to sit down and interview, we want to talk to them. And until next time.
Keep it strange.
If you've enjoyed this, then you have to hit strangegrooves.com for more amazing content. To support this podcast and music community, go to patreon.com/strangegrooves. As always, keep it strange.